chill out, Sheila.
Well, this, you're not getting no cake. So I get it, brother.
I wonder is anybody else having problems connecting with the lesson? Let's see.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. And let me finish putting, okay? Hold on, baby. Here. Good.
I think we having problems with people connecting to the call.
Put on the plate.
Give us a few more minutes and we're going to go ahead and get this Bible study started. Shalom to who just tuned in. Shalom. Just a couple seconds.
Why she said she don't see the number to connect.
Oh, they don't have it on there?
Here.
They should have the number by now.
They probably just used to click it on.
Yeah, true. Okay. This is true.
Put on the plate. Orange? You get all your orange out? wait for it.
Give it about 5 more minutes so we can go ahead and get started.
You eating it all up? Eat it all up. Eat it some more. Sheila, you don't get nothing else. Nothing.
Shalom, shalom. All right. How do I do that?
Stop.
Shalom, shalom. Who just came in? Shalom, can you hear me?
Broccoli. It's all gone.
Shalom, can you hear me? All right. I don't know how to post in the box that we streaming, but if you are watching, please post the link in the inbox. I'm not that tech savvy. I don't know how to post it in the inbox.
Clean your hands.
But we about to go ahead and get started. First and foremost, giving all praises and honor to the Most High Yah through His Son Yahushua Hamashiach. We thank everybody for tuning in today. This is going to be the first installment of the videos that we're doing for the Bible study. We've been doing them for quite a while, but we never recorded them. So it's time that we start recording them on video, and as well as recording recording it on the phone. So again, this is the first installment of that. Praise and honor is due to the Most High Yah in that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We got a couple viewers. We still waiting on a couple people to call in, but we just gonna go ahead and get it started. I don't want to hold y'all too long tonight. So what we're going to get into today is going to be about following after the Most High and His Son. As simple as that sound, as simple as that may seem, there's other ways to look at it. You know what I'm saying? When you think about following after the Most High, when you think about following after His Son, you automatically think keep the commandments, which is true. You think believing on His Son with your heart, mind, and soul, which is true. You think about a lot of these things that go in following after the Most High, following after His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, which is good. It's definitely a good thing, but I want to kind of revamp that and take it and look at it from the New Testament, the Old Testament, the writings. So we're going to take a look at this and see if you can, gauge what we're trying to get into tonight. So we will be using a similar tool. Matter of fact, let's start off in Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. We're going to start off in Hosea 12 and 10. Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, I have also spoken by the prophets. Now remember, we're going into the law. So we know that the author of the law or the Torah will be who? Moses, right? Which means, or we know that Moses was definitely a prophet, right? So he says, I have spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. So we know that the word similitude means similar, or a similarity of person, or comparison of persons or things, right? So today we're going to go into another similitude. We actually dealt with on Shabbat that just passed in the beginning of the lesson, talking about being in the shadow of the Most High, and how Bezalel's name was in the shadow or protection of the Most High. So we're going to get into something similar, but not too similar, right? First, let's get the book of Joshua chapter 24. One of my favorite verses, right? Yeah, I got a lot of favorite verses. You know what I'm saying? You can't just pick one. I've tried to narrow it down. I had, at certain times I have a favorite verse here and there. But shalom. But you can't just narrow down a favorite verse in the Bible. So we are going to go to one of my favorites. Shalom. My phone was on mute. Hey, how you doing? All right. So, this is the book of Joshua, chapter 24, and verse 15. Joshua 24:15. And it reads, and if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahuwah, choose you this day whom you will serve. That's a big question, and a big statement, and a big decision that we got to make as being the children of Israel. Now we could talk all day long about who we gonna serve, who we gonna follow, but if we ain't walking it out, if we ain't actually putting our feet to the pavement to actually walk and follow after this man, then we got trouble coming our way, right? It says, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahuwah. That's pretty much self-explanatory. We ain't even got to explain that verse. He said, as for me and my house, we're going to serve Yahuwah. That's how it is over this way. That's how we do in the chosen seed. Over here, we're going to serve Yahuwah. I don't care what nobody else is doing. We ain't thinking about what Billy up the street is doing, what your cousin doing, your auntie doing. We going to serve Yahuwah, right? And in serving Yahuwah, we have to make sure that we are adhering to his word, right? The importance of his word is not just what you read. The importance of his word goes far beyond just the letters in what you read, because his word is his son, right? So we have to keep that in mind. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 63. We're going to get into what the similitude is about in just a second. I want to give a couple verses. Psalms chapter 63 and verse 8. Psalms chapter 63 and verse 8. I've been told that I move a little too fast sometimes while teaching, so I'll try to slow down. Okay. Psalms chapter 63 and verse 8. It says, my soul, already, that verse is deep. You can't say a lot. When you talk about your soul, a lot of people don't even know what it feels like to cry out from your soul. You know what I'm saying? So he started this statement off by saying, my soul follow hard after you. Your right hand uphold me. I wonder who his right hand would be, or who sits at his right hand. Definitely it'd be his son, right? It says, my soul follow hard after you. Your right hand uphold me. This is important. Let's get Proverbs chapter 21. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 21. Proverbs chapter 21 at verse 21. I said, I'm not going to be before y'all long, I pray. You know what I'm saying? But I think this is going to be a good one for us to hold on to. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 21. He that follow hard after righteousness and mercy find life. The man that follow hard after righteousness and mercy find life. That's not a light thing. He didn't say just follow. Normally brisk. He says follow hard. You got to be on his tail. Right? It says, he that follow after righteousness and mercy find life. Righteousness and honor. Right? Let's see something else. Let's get the book of Isaiah chapter 51. Isaiah chapter 51. Isaiah chapter 51. It says this. Matter of fact, Isaiah 51 at verse 1. Isaiah 51 at verse 1. Listen to me, you that follow after righteousness. How many of y'all can honestly say you follow after righteousness? How many of y'all who's been following after the videos that we've been doing know what righteousness is? I encourage y'all to go back and watch the law series that King Yaakov was doing, because it shows how the word righteousness or righteous is simply the law. Simply goes back to the law, right? So it says, listen to me, you that follow after righteousness, you that seek Yahuwah. Look into the rock whence you are hewn, into the hole of the pit which you are digged. So he told us plain and simple. Listen to him that follow after righteousness. I myself Plague myself on following after righteousness, seeking for Yahuwah. Right? Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Isaiah chapter 58. Matter of fact, we're going to start at verse 2. Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 2. It's important that we make sure that we seeking after the Most High. He says, seek me when what? When he may be found. It's a lot of people that's going to be trying to seek after him when it's too late. But when it's too late, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? You don't get a payment plan with the Most High when it's too late. This is your payment plan right now. You know when the people come and they get ready to cut your lights off, cut your gas off, cut your water off. Sometimes they'll say, okay, we arrange a payment plan, we'll keep your stuff on. Right? Most High done already did that. Right? We done been out of Egypt a long time. Mashiach done died a long time ago. Our payment plan is right now. When it's time, when he cracked them clouds, when it's time for him to roll back the Shamayim like a scroll, ain't no more payment plan. Right? You got to be paid up or them lights getting cut off. We trying to be a part of the light. We don't want our light cut off. Right? It says, this is Isaiah 58 and verse 2. Yet they seek me daily. This is important. It says, yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways. How do you delight to know his ways? I know I got somebody on the call. How do you delight to know the Most High's ways? By doing what? By seeking? Okay. How do you seek him? What do you do? By what? By studying the Bible, trying to learn. But where do you try to learn from? I need more specific than that. What you think? When he says, delight to know his ways. This is delighting to know his character, delighting to know who he is, what he is about. What do we seek after? Precepts, okay. Precept upon precept, line upon line. That's a good way. But I'm looking for something more specific. I'm looking for something more specific. If you go seek after the Most High daily and delight to know his ways, how do you do so?
You seek righteousness.
You seek righteousness. I see somebody on the chat say obedience. Okay, obedience. Y'all not giving me. I need specifics. I need a little bit more specific. What you say, Mama? You say ah. That's what it is. I need a little more specific. A little more specific. Delight to know his ways. Y'all don't know what that's the law. You seek his character from the law. You know who he is from the law. You know what he's about from the law. We know that the Most High keep his own commandments, right? Mm-hmm. So in giving us the commandments, he's given us a way of life to live the way that he does. Right? This is what he give us. Let's see something. Let's get John chapter 14. He said, delight to know his ways. Seek him daily. Right? Remember, everything got to go back to the law. Huh? I posted the number in the inbox. I hope. One second. Okay, it said they good now. Okay. John, the 14th chapter, or Yehukanan, the 14th chapter, at verse 6. It says, and Yahushua saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So he told us specifically, he's the way. So when he told you to seek him daily, delight in his way, who is he telling you to delight in? Telling you to delight in Mashiach. Mashiach is the way, he's the truth, right? What is the truth according to the book? The law. Everything is going back to the law, right? Let's see, let's move forward. It says to delight in his way. Let's go, matter of fact, let's go back to Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 2. Let's finish that verse out. Uh-oh. You alright? Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 2.
Hey.
Y'all let me know when y'all there. Alright. Isaiah 58 and verse 2. It says, yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness. As a nation that did what? As a nation that did, what is that though? As a nation that did the law. And forsook not the ordinances or the ordinance of their Elohim. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. Do anybody, just a quick question. Anybody viewing, anybody on the call, right? Have you ever thought to yourself, what more can I do for the Most High? Like, you felt comfortable with what you was, with the skin you was in, so to speak. You felt comfortable with how you was moving. You said, man, it got to be something more I can do for the Most High. It got to be something else that I can do to bring me closer to the Father, to bring me closer to His Son. I know I've done it. Because once you get content and think that you've made it, you lost. We can't do enough. Right? We have to always seek after the Most High's ordinances. Always seek after His commandments. Always seek after His righteous judgments. Always. It says, they ask of me the ordinances of justice, and they take delight in approaching to Elohim. Now, when we look back in the book of Exodus, the 24th chapter, what do we see? Is it the 24th chapter? Matter of fact, let's go back to Exodus chapter 20. It says they delight in approaching. Stop it. They delight in approaching to Elohim. Exodus chapter 20. In verse 18. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 18. It says they delight in the approaching to Elohim. Right? Exodus chapter 20 and verse 18. Y'all there? I got you. I got you. It reads, and all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. Did they approach the Most High, or did they move away? Here's this figure that's on top of the mountain, right? Lightning, thunder, and all type of carrying on. They was in fear, which is, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with being in fear, right? Because everybody gonna fear when this man cracked them clouds. Don't get it twisted. But let's see what it says. It says, and they said unto Moshe, speak you with us, and we will hear. But let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. They was like, look, man, we don't want nothing to do with that. You go and get the message from him. You holler at us. Stop it, son. You go and get the message from him. You get at us, and we fine with that. But in Isaiah the 58th chapter, he says, the people that delight in the approaching to Elohim. Right? Let's keep reading. It says, and Yahuwah said unto Moshe, where I'm at? No, verse 20, I'm sorry. And Moshe said unto the people, fear not, for Elohim is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that you sin not. Don't be afraid. He just coming to make sure that y'all going to do what y'all supposed to do. To make sure that you're not going to be sinning. Right? He just gave us the commandments. He came down just to let you know, hey, this is me. I'm here. Right? But they were afraid. They look, Moses, you do all that. We don't want nothing to do with that. You good. Right? But he says that we are supposed to delight to the approaching to him. When are we going to be able to approach him?
When we're in the spirit.
Say again?
When we're in the spirit.
When we in the spirit, when we in the ruach. Okay, when we transfigure. Right? Let's see an example. Isaiah the 2nd chapter. Isaiah the 2nd chapter. Bear with me. We getting ready to get into what we came to get into. Bear with me. Isaiah chapter 2. And verse 1. It says, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahuwah, of Yahuwah's house, shall be established in the top of the mountains. It's funny how when he first appeared to the children of Israel, he was in a mountain. Right? It says, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. So they're going to be coming to this mountain. Right? It says, and many people shall go and say, come you, let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah. First, we were like, hold up. we ain't trying to go up there. We ain't trying to go to him. But it says now that they will say, come, let us go up to the house of Elohim of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. So there's a whole change in demeanor of the people. First, let's get away from it. Moses, you teach us. You tell us. Now is comfort. Let us go up to the mountain. Let us go so he can teach us his ways and we can walk in his paths. This is what we actually came here for this lesson for today. So because we need to walk and follow after the path of the Most High. Walk and follow after the path that his son came and he laid down for us. We're going to see that in the New Testament, and we're going to see that in the Old. We're going to see a similitude of the Old being brought into fruition in the New with Mashiach. Any ideas? When we're talking about following after Mashiach or following after the Most High, do we have any ideas of the similitude that we're getting ready to go into? Anybody? Anybody watching that can comment, or anybody on the call? Do we have any idea what similitude that we're getting ready to go into? I'll give you a second. Moms, you got any idea? We are getting ready to go into a similitude of Hamashiach, but what similitude will we be using? What you think, Don?
You said following the Most High?
Mm-hmm. No, not quite. Not quite. Um, I don't want to just give y'all the answer. Let's get
Hey, watch it.
let's get Job the 23rd chapter. Let's get Job chapter 23. This won't be long at all. Won't be long at all.
I'll go look and lay down.
Job 23.
Can't be in nothing.
Hmm? Job the 23rd chapter. And the Job chapter 23. Let's start at verse 11. Job 23 and 11. It says, "My foot hath held his steps. His way have I kept and not declined. Neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food." He said he esteemed the words of his mouth more than food. Holding on to the words of the Most High more than food. What in the law can we think about that go along with his statement?
Um, uh,
You're supposed to know
you
this
can't
off the
live by
jump.
bread alone.
You shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. Exactly. Right? That's in Deuteronomy, right? So this is what he said. But before he made that statement, he says that his foot hath held his steps, meaning he's still following after the Most High. No matter all that stuff that was going on with Job, this is Job speaking, by the way, he still continued to follow after the Most High. How many of us can say we would have did that? Right? After going through this great tribulation. Let's get Luke chapter 9. Luke chapter 9. Matter of fact, before we get Luke chapter 9, let's get Exodus chapter 14. Exodus chapter 14. Exodus chapter 14. We getting ready to get into the symbol too. Exodus chapter 14 and verse. Let's pick it up at verse 22. Exodus 14 and 22. It says, "And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch, Yahuwah looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of what?
Fire.
Through the pillar of fire and of the cloud." So this cloud with this fire had been leading us this whole time throughout the journey from Egypt to where we ended up right here, right? And even after, right? So he says he peered through the cloud, through the fire, to see the Egyptians after us, right? It says, "and troubled the host of the Egyptians." Now, this cloud and this fire is important because this is what we're about to talk about today, right? Let's get Exodus chapter 13 and verse 22. Matter of fact, let's start at verse 20. Verse 21. It says, and Yahuwah went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud and led them the way. So this cloud is what led them the way. Now Hamashiach told us that he was the way. We in agreement? So it says this cloud led them the way. Huh? Say again. Verse 21. Exodus chapter 13 and verse 21. It says, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. Verse 22. It says, he took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of the fire by night from before the people. Meaning he was always with them. Always with them. Right? And no matter where this cloud or this fire went, what had to happen? The people had to follow it. Right? Let's get Luke, the 9th chapter. Luke the 9th chapter. Because we see right here where the Most High appeared through these clouds and through this fire and became an intercessor between the children of Israel and death. Because the Egyptians was getting ready to clown on us. Right? So he became that intercessor through this cloud to save us from death from these Egyptians. Right? Luke chapter 9. Luke chapter 9. Let's pick it up at verse 49. I'm going to read through a little bit of this Luke chapter 9 right quick. It says, and Yehukanan answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in your name, and we forbade him because he followed not with us. So we see the disciples. Remember, this is earlier on in they following of the Mashiach, right? So it still was a lot of stuff to learn. But you had other people that weren't around Mashiach at the time that were casting out devils and demons in the name of Hamashiach, which means they catered to the teachings of Mashiach and pushed it forward, right? And he said, well, look, man, we told him, hey, man, go ahead with all that, man. Don't be casting out names in Mashiach's name. You don't know him.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And this was his response. And Yahushua said unto him, forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. And this is the thing with a lot of Israelites today. They think if you're not a part of their said camp, organization, or group, even in the church world, in the world, right? They thought if they wasn't with your church or your sister church or whatever, you ain't right, right? And that's the mentality that a lot of people got going on today. You know what I'm saying? We need to stand firmly on this word and follow after the Mashiach and the Father. To follow after Mashiach and the Father. And by doing so, if you doing the work like we're doing the work, you my brother. Right? We have no reason to forbid or forbade. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that anyway. But if you doing the work and we doing the work, we all following after Mashiach in righteousness. That's what it is. But let's keep going. It says, and it came to pass, when the time was come that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem, and sent messengers before his face. And they went and entered a village of the Samaritans to make ready for him. So they was getting ready to go to Jerusalem, and he sent a couple people ahead of him to go and check out the spot, get everything together for him. You know what I'm saying? And this is what happened. It says, and when his disciples, what does the word disciple mean? Anybody know? A pupil or a student of, right? So when you're a pupil or a student of someone, you are a follower, not a follower like, you know, like when we talk about in the world, oh, you just a follower. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about following after someone's lead, right? After leadership, right? It says, and when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Master, will you that we could, I'm sorry, y'all, I skipped down. We have verse 53. It says, and they did not receive him because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. So you have people that was like, nah, we ain't letting y'all through here. We know you trying to go to Jerusalem. We ain't with that, right? So this, off the rip, pissed off his disciples. Let's see what their response was in this. Because they were followers of Mashiach. Just like if you was in the world and you walking with your homeboys and y'all trying to go somewhere, and they like, nah, he can't get in here. Nah, we won't allow y'all to come through here. You're going to do one or two things. All of y'all going to leave, or you're going to be ready to fight for that. Right? Let's see what the disciples did. Verse 54. And when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Master, will you that we command fire to come down from Shamayim and consume them, even as Elijah did? So they was ready. They was ready. They was like, look, they ain't trying to let us through here. We need to go ahead and handle that. We need to go ahead and kill these people off so we can go through. But what would have happened if Mashiach would have rained down fire on these people at this time? That would have started a war. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't have just had to kill them, but he would have had to kill the people who came to avenge them. And the people after that. And then that throws the whole scenario off. That throws the whole plan off. Right? So let's look at what Mashiach said. It says, but he turned and rebuked them and said, you know not what manner of spirit you are of. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. Yes, he could have had their lives in the palm of his hand. Yes, he could have destroyed these men at any cost. But he didn't. He chose not to. You see what I'm saying? He said, man, don't you know what manner of spirit you are? Don't you know who you walking amongst? Don't you realize my job and what I got to do? I'm not here to kill nobody. I'm not here to destroy anybody. I'm here to bring them closer to the Most High. I'm here to save them. So you know, although these people were enemies, he had to be there and stand in for them and say, no, I'm not about to destroy him. I'm here to make men live. Let's see an example of that in the law. Let's get the book of Bereshit, the book of Genesis chapter 50. Let's look at it. Let's see. Genesis chapter 50. Stop it. Genesis chapter 50 and verse let's start at verse 14. Now we know what happened with Joseph and his brothers, right? His brothers, when he had a vision about the stars, and they was like, oh man, what you dreaming about? What you trying to say? We gonna have to bow down to you? We gonna have to worship you? We gonna have to follow after you? They didn't like that. So they took Joseph, dropped him in a ditch, left him for dead, lied to his dad, and kept it moving. Right? Now, at any point in time, these have become his enemies. They left this man for dead. Although they were his brothers, their intentions was to leave him for dead. Right? But through the grace of the Most High, he made it out of that. So now fast forward, we in Genesis chapter 50, where this man has great power in the land of Egypt, second to Pharaoh, right? And his brothers have come to Egypt for food. It's a big famine in the land, right? They done come to Egypt for food, right? Now they done seen their brother. They don't know who their brother is, but his brother know who they are. Let's read. This is Genesis, the 50th chapter, and verse 14. It says, and Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father after he had buried his father. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we had done to him. They like, man, dad dead now. It ain't nothing for him to hold on to. You know what I'm saying? He gonna kill us. He gonna get us back for the stuff we did to him. That's what happens when you got a guilty conscience. You always thinking about a repercussion. You know what I'm saying? If you keep your hands clean, ain't no reason for you to get dirty. Right? But the same thing that they thought when they left him in that ditch, they were pissed off, assuming a certain thing was going to happen as far as them having to bow down to him or thinking he was better than everybody. Right? But it says, and they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, your father did command before he died, saying, so shall you say unto Joseph, forgive, I pray you now, the trespass of your brethren and their sin, for they did unto you evil, and now we pray you, forgive the trespass of the servants of Elohim of your father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. That's the same thing that happens with us with Mashiach. Mashiach had to bear all of the things that we did to him. He had to bear dying and us doing the evil deeds that we do when we supposed to be following after him, making his death in vain, putting our hand, according to Hebrews the 6th chapter, in his death, in his crucifixion. He got to bear all that, and when you ready to repent and when you ready to turn it around, he got to accept you, because that was a part of the covenant. That was a part of the agreement. Right? Verse 18, it says, and his brothers also went and fell down before his face, and they said, behold, we be your servants. And Joseph said unto them, fear not, for am I in the place of Elohim? But as for you, you thought evil against me, just like these people that wouldn't allow them to go into Jerusalem. It says you thought evil against me. Stop. But Elohim meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. In a place where he could have requited his brothers for the evil that they did, for the evil that they committed, in a place where he could have put the sword to them because they left him for dead, he said, the stuff that y'all meant for evil to me, Elohim meant it unto good, to save much people alive. Same thing happened over here in the book of Luke. I didn't come here to destroy men, I came to save them. Right? Let's go back over here to Luke chapter 9. Now remember, we're still talking about following after Mashiach, following after the Most High. Luke chapter 9. We're going to pick it back up where we left off at. Uh-oh. Sorry. 1 second. Luke chapter 9. Stop it. Sit down. Luke chapter 9 and verse 56. It says, the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them, just like Joseph. And they went to another village. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Master, I will follow you whithersoever you go. I'm going to read that again. It says, and it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Master, I will follow you whithersoever you go. Do we have the gall enough to say that and be about that? Can we talk about it and walk it out at the same time? Or is we just pump faking? Verse 58. And Mashiach said unto him, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. And he said unto another, Follow me. Wait a minute. He told another, I ain't got nowhere to lay my head right now. I don't know where I don't have nowhere to go right now. But he told somebody else, follow me. This is important. He said, follow me. I don't have a place to rest right now. But follow me. Remember what he told us. He told us that he was going to give us rest. Let's keep moving. It says, suffer me first. Verse 59. And he said unto another, follow me. But he said, Master, suffer me first to go and bury my father. Let me go and bury my father first. Stop it, son. Sit down. Yeah, grab it. It says, excuse me, y'all, pardon. It says, and he said unto another, follow me. But he said, Master, suffer me first to go and bury my father. And Mashiach said unto him, let the dead bury their dead, but go you and preach the kingdom of Elohim. We don't have time for you to go and bury your father. When I say get up and go, it's time to get up and go. That's just what time it is. When he tells you you got to do A, B, and C, that's just what time it is. We can't make room for D, E, and F. You understand what I'm saying? It's time to get up and go. When he say keep these commandments, it's time to do it. We can't try to do it. We got to do it. Try to say your name. Try. Go ahead. It's impossible to try to say your name. You have to just do it. Right? You got to just do it. Let's get matter of fact, let's keep going. It says, and another also said, Master, I will follow you, but let me first bid them farewell which are at home at my house. I didn't ask you to go and bid them farewell. When it's time to go, it's time to go. We don't have room for nothing else. When he get back and he take one man that's in the field and another man is left, is he going to say, hold on, let me go back and grab my homeboy? No. It says a man that's a soldier of Mashiach can't be entangled into the affairs of the world. When he say it's time to get up and go, it's time to get up and go. A lot of y'all parents out there, when you want your children to be in this truth, you want the children to walk after the Most High. When he say it's time to get up and go and you got to leave, if your babies ain't following, they ain't following. It's hard to think about. It's hard to feel. It's hard to even fathom that in your mind. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. Because you can get left too. Let's see what he say. It says, and Mashiach said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of Elohim. You can't look back. You can't say, oh, well, my babies. Oh, well, my house. Oh, well, you can't do that. It ain't time for that. When that man say get up and go, it's time to get up and go. If you turn back, you ain't coming, you ain't rolling with them. You done already did what you had to do. You done already chose your battle. And say, he that love father or mother more than me is not what? It's not worthy of me. He that loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. When he say get up and go, it's time to get up and go. This right here is an example put in here just to let you know that. And we going to actually see this in the law where when it was time to get up and go, it was time to get up and go. This was a shadow of how it was supposed to be when it came to Mashiach. Right? Let's get John the 16th. John the 6th chapter. Matter of fact, before we go to John the 6th chapter, I want y'all to hold that thought that when it's time to get up and go, it's time to get up and go. We're going to find this in the law. We're going to get this out the law right quick. We'll meet back up in John right in a minute. But let's get the book of Numbers, chapter 9. Remember, when it's time to get up and go, it's time to get up and go. It's been time to get up and go since he gave them commandments on the mount. It's been time to get up and go since he told us it was time to leave Egypt. It's been time to get up and go since this man created the heavens and the earth. He done gave us time and time again to say, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out. Ain't no more of that, man. Ain't no more of that. His love for us is so great that it's been thousands of years and we still able to sit here right now and learn his word. We still able to sit here right now, mess up, and even pray to get back on his good side. Because after all of this time, we should know. After all of this time, we should be woke. Numbers chapter 9. And let's pick it up at the ain't gonna be too much longer. Numbers chapter 9, we're gonna pick it up at the 15th verse. Now remember, when it's time to get up and go, it's time to get up and go, right? So let's find this out of the law. Because we know the disciples did everything that this man told them to do. Everywhere he went, they went. Everywhere he slept, they slept. Every move he made, the disciples were right with him. Beside going up in the on that mountain before Hashatan. Right? But everywhere he went, they had to get up and go. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. When that man said move, it was time to move. So let's find this in the law. Numbers chapter 9 and verse 15. It says, and on that day, the tabernacle was reared up. The cloud covered the tabernacle, namely the tent of the testimony. And at evening, there was upon the tabernacle as it was the appearance of fire until the morning. So there we go. We got that cloud by day and that fire by night. We got that again, right? And it says this in verse 16. So it was always the cloud covered it by day and the appearance of fire by night. And when the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle. So remember, the cloud rested on the tabernacle. Right? It says, and when the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, then after the children of Israel journeyed. And in the place where the cloud abode, there the children of Israel pitched their tent. So wherever this cloud went, they had to follow it. Wherever this cloud rested, they had to rest. You think you could be following this man in the wilderness, and when his cloud rests somewhere, you can just go off somewhere else? No. Or when it was time for the cloud to move, you think you can just wait a day or two? Absolutely not. Verse 18. It says, and at the commandment of Yahuwah, the children of Israel journeyed. And at the commandment of Yahuwah, they pitched. So it was wherever the Most High said go. Wherever he sent this cloud to, that's where you had to go. Wherever he said go, you had to go. It says, as long as the cloud abode upon the tabernacle, they rested in their tents. And when the cloud tarried long upon the tabernacle many days, then the children of Israel kept the charge of Yahuwah and journeyed not. So when the tent was at rest and was at a place, they were as well. When Hamashiach went and he had to pray, and he told them, hey, y'all, I need y'all to be in here with me. I need y'all to be here with me. If they would have said, nah, man, I'm going out here to whatever place. I'm about to go to Thessalonica. I'll catch you later. I'm getting ready to go over here. It don't work like that. This is why he chose the people that he chose. It ain't no, when that man say get up and go, it's time to get up and go. He showed us this back here with this cloud. Right? Let's keep reading. It says, and so it was, when the cloud was a few days upon the tabernacle, according to the commandment of Yahuwah, they abode in their tents. And according to the commandment of Yahuwah, they journeyed. And so it was, when the cloud abode from evening unto the morning, and that cloud was taken up in the morning, that they journeyed, whether it was by day or by night. That the cloud was taken up, they journeyed. It don't matter if it was at nighttime. It don't matter if it was in the morning. If the cloud got up and left, you got to get up and go. Don't oversleep. Don't oversleep. Remember, he told you it's high time to wake up out of sleep. Don't oversleep. If the cloud gone, you best to be on your way with it. Mashiach gave us instructions. When he say do something, it's time to do it. Don't sleep. Seek him daily. If you seeking him daily, that means he got to be in sight. I got to come find. I got to get you. I got to be where you at. Because if I'm not where you at, I'm in trouble. If I'm not in the Beselel or the protection of the Most High, I'm in trouble. Right? Let's keep reading. And so it was, when the cloud abode from even to the morning, and that cloud was taken up in the morning, that they journeyed, whether it was by day or by night, that the cloud was taken up, they journeyed. Or whether it were 2 days, or a month, or a year, that the cloud tarried